and I read a lot news. I'm a junkie of knowledge.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I like a lot is trends. As an example, today, what's the biggest trend that I'm seeing? China and the US fighting. We're going to geopolitically restructure the world completely in the next 5 years. And people are not seeing it. I talk with real estate investors in the US. They say, well, the market is not that bad. And it's going to have some. And I was like, no, you don't get it. Like, I really believe 2023 or whatever recession is not going to start in the US. It's going to start in Europe or China. And we're going to get hit in the US.
Well, I mean, we're kind of seeing it already with China. We haven't felt it.
Yeah.
We haven't felt it, but it's happening.
It's happening.
They're massively overbuilt, and what they're doing in China, what they've been doing in China, is not that different than what we did in 2006 and 2007.
That's correct.
But no one's really talking about that.
But here's the difference. In the US, probably we have 10 or 15% of our assets in real estate. In China, it's like 40% of the assets of the families.
Yeah.
So it's going to get bad. And that's not the only issue that is happening in China. I don't know if you saw Mary Garland, what's the head of the security in the U.S.
Department of Justice.
Department of Justice.
Yeah.
He gave a press release last Monday, lasted like 25 minutes. They have captured around 20 Chinese nationals directed by the Chinese Communist Party to steal information in the U.S. and technology.
Yeah.
And they got them a couple of weeks ago. That's going to be bad.
Yeah.
So Biden, 2 weeks before that, sent a information to Americans working for 21 companies that serve Chinese companies or were Chinese companies. And the message in few words said, you have two options. Or you resign or you lose your American citizenship.
Yeah.
It's going to get bad.
Yeah, I read that too. And there's not a lot of
It's not
conversation about that.
I don't understand. Like, it's a tectonic shift in the world.
Yeah. Well, it's not just that. The other thing I read was that they're no longer they created a collusion, right, of all the countries that we are no longer going to supply technological information to China.
That is true.
Right.
Yep.
And that's the reason why this China-Taiwan thing just keeps getting more and more tense.
So here's what the U.S. said: if I want to strangle China, how can I do it? You could do it financially, but they said China does not produce any chips. They don't have the technology and the knowledge to do it.
Right.
They're all produced in Taiwan or the U.S. They said if we could remove or strangle the access to chips, they're going to go under.
Yeah.
That's what they're doing.
Right.
So it's a way to choke China. Everyone said China was going to overtake the U.S. China GDP could lose 20-30% of GDP in the next 5 years.
Yeah.
And no one is talking about it, as you said.
No, I'm seeing articles here and there about it.
CNN should have it front and center as the number one news.
Yeah.
No one's talking about it. So
Yeah.
I love to read these kind of things, like trends geopolitically and all that. I love that.
Yeah.
That's part of my.
So it's a little